Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 2 of this email challenge. It's 5 days. Just a reminder, it's called the email challenge, not the email easy. So we're doing some work this week, but I also believe if you just are sitting here and listening, you're going to get something. So whether you're into the osmosis or the doing, I'm just very, very, very glad that you're here. So welcome. I am able to see your comments. I'm going to do a whole Q&A at the end of this. So if I miss one of your questions, don't get offended because I'm a very slow reader and I also have that like squirrel sort of thing. So I want to like stay focused on delivering you some great value. Just remember from yesterday, there are 4 things that go on in these calls. The first one is I will deliver some information. Enjoy. And then the second thing is there will be a giveaway, and we'll talk about that today and who won yesterday's. So exciting. And then the third thing is there's going to be an assignment so that you actually end up in a better place at the end of this challenge than when you started. So in 5 days, we're not talking 5 months, 5 weeks, 5 years, you're going to have some stuff handled if you do this work. If you don't do this work, it's okay. You can't unlearn this stuff. So it's all good. If you are like, yes, I need to really seriously level up, then do the challenges. I've designed to make them very bite-sized and easy. And also the main things you need to do to really get moving forward. And then the last thing will be the Q&A. And each day the Q&As will get a little longer because I'll be answering questions from previous days. But like yesterday, I was like, we'll answer that tomorrow. We'll answer that on the next day. So I might say that too. Because this isn't my first rodeo, I know how this is going to go. Spoiler alert, it turns out really good for you. So really psyched to be here. I'm just kind of giving everyone a minute to hop in. I start very much on time, so that's just me. But, you know, that's okay. So we're in day 2 here. Welcome. And today is the technology day. Technology can be a huge block for people, especially musicians, because we're like, I just want to play my piano or play my guitar and write my songs. So sometimes we're like, yes, I want to connect with my fans. How do I do it? Where do I put the emails? How do they send them? Should I switch lists? How do I transfer? What about tags and segments? And do I have 2 lists because I have 2 audiences? We're going to handle all that. So if technology has been kind of like a want block for you, give me like a whatever your version of want is in the chat box. Want could be like it just bums me out or it confuses me. Oh my God, you guys, on the technology day, the technology kicked me off. Those are the technology. So I'd like to introduce you to my co-hosts for today, the technology gremlins. And they are funny. They do shit like that. Pardon my French. They do that stuff right when you need it most, right when you're about to send out an email. You realize that you send it to your other list instead of the right list. You know, they're funny. They have a sense of humor. And listen, I love a good sense of humor. So now you've met the tech gremlins. Welcome. Welcome to day 2 of the email challenge, the technology day. The irony is not lost on me. I love good irony. Alanis Morissette and me. Isn't that ironic? Okay. So here we go. Technology. I know that a lot of you have the question, what platform is the best platform? Is that you? I have a funny feeling that my answer is going to really make you happy or drive you bananas. Are you excited? Are you excited for this? Okay. So here's my answer to this question. I'm gonna share my screen here. We're gonna get going and get serious with the tech. The best platform for you to host your email list is the one that you will use, the one that you will learn, and the one that you will love. Really, I'm not being cheeky here. It's kind of like, what's the best way to get to the store? The way that you know. That will be the fastest way. If you get lost trying to go the faster way, it defeats the purpose. So the best platform for you is the one that you use. That doesn't mean that there aren't, I definitely have recommendations, and I'm going to share those with you. And there are definitely different kinds of platforms, and I'm going to go through all that. And then we'll go through some other techie terms, automation versus broadcast, how to set some stuff up. And there's actually five real key elements in the technology flow for having a really good working email list. So I'm just going to walk you through all of this stuff, because today's kind of the money day. If you have your list handled and you're like, I'm good, hang out, because there's going to be some stuff that might also help optimize what you've already got going on. Cool? Cool. All right. So the best platform is the one that you're going to use. Cool. But let's talk about platforms in general. So there are three kinds of platforms. This is how I categorize them. There are basic platforms, there are designated platforms, and advanced platforms. So basic to me is like through Wix or Squarespace or Bandzoogle, and they are website designers, website hosts that host your website, and they have the ability to put a form on your site to collect those emails. When you collect those emails, they have a place inside. When you log into your Bandzoogle dashboard, for example, there's a place for you to actually access those emails and to send out emails. What they don't have is a bunch of bells and whistles. You can't time those emails. You can't set up automation, which we'll talk about in a second, but it is there for you to collect those emails. You can always export them from that platform into another place if you want to upgrade level up later. And of the basic platforms, and in general, if you are just getting started and want a place to put your website, I always recommend Bandzoogle. I work out a deal with them, so you could get 15% off once you do decide. You can try it for like 14 days or something. So if you're interested, here's a little site for you, inthekey.co/make-a-site, and you can check out what they've got there. I do have some insider information that they are working on developing a more robust email system. I don't know when that's going to come out. But to just get going and just collect those emails and send a free download, which you can do automatically, this is a great place to start. And it is one of those basic platforms that I recommend. So there's that, inthekey.co/make-a-site. If you want to check it out, you can try it out for free for 14 days and see if it's for you. If you need a website, it's totally great. I love these guys, and their customer service is like beyond. It's so great. So designated platforms are the platforms that are designated for email. So they're companies like MailChimp, MailerLite, Aweber, ActiveCampaign, Constant Contact that were designed for building an email list. They often have a free level. Some of those platforms don't offer a lot of bells and whistles. They're actually fairly basic on their free level. So you do need to pay something. Usually it's a monthly fee. Oftentimes there's a discount if you pay yearly, and it's somewhere between $12 and $150, right? Like we're talking about a monthly fee to manage your list, to be able to automate things. And if someone does this, then they get that series. And we'll talk about that again in a second. So designated services are designed to work with your current website. So they are not web hosts in general. A lot of them allow you to make like a landing page where you can put your form and you can send people to that one landing page that says, hey, I have a thing I want to give you. Sign up here, put your name in here, right? So yeah, Flowdesk is one of them. They're new. I actually have a meeting with them. You guys, I'm like very tight with a lot of email companies because I always want to know who's doing a good job. And there's a lot of them that do a great job. And so in Rock Your Email List, I have a bunch of tutorials from people from those platforms that talk about their platform in particular. They are all basically the same in terms of what they can do and the bells and whistles and what automation is and flow or funnels. A lot of them have different names for different things. So we'll all get on the same page about that in a second. So let me just quickly go through Advanced. Advanced is a CRM, customer relationship management tool, and that's like Infusionsoft and HubSpot, and these are upwards to $150 to $700 a month. They're like robust tools for content management. And I used to work with Infusionsoft. By the way, I used to be on Constant Contact, then I switched to MailChimp, and then my list grew so much, and they charge like their pricing gets exponentially bigger if your list grows. So then it made sense for me to switch over to Infusionsoft, which was so complicated, and I could go down all these rabbit holes and make things very, very specific that I ended up wanting to simplify, and I moved to Kajabi, which to me is actually a designated and an advanced. Kajabi allows you to create a website like the basic. It hosts my online products. It also hosts my mailing list, and I'm allowed to create affiliates, essentially partners, people that want to go sell my stuff for me. So whether it's my courses like here, or if it's my music or other things, like people can say, hey, I have a big audience, I want to go sell this for you, which is a very cool thing for musicians to do, but very few musicians are doing that, is creating partnerships like that. But Kajabi allows me to do that. The cool thing about Kajabi is their prices don't change as you grow your list. It is such a scarcity mindset to be like, I don't want to pay for something if I don't have a growing list yet. So if you think about $30 a month, if you have 30 people on your list, according to that statistic I gave you yesterday that I love, you'll be making at least $1 per subscriber per month, covering your cost. 150 people on your list, you're making $150 per month. So I've literally heard musicians say, I'm almost at 500 subscribers. I don't want to grow my list anymore because then I'm going to have to pay another $10 a month. Like, talk about keeping yourself small. The scarcity mindset is a very, very powerful thing. And if you are seeing growth and you continue to stop yourself, you're actually training yourself to stay small. You guys, this email challenge is not actually about email. It's about our mindset about what we're worth. Spoiler alert. Okay, anyway, so if you're into Kajabi, I get another 14-day free thing. They've got a really cool like get going thing. You can try it out in thekey.co/Kajabi. And if you know you're in this for the long haul, I would just say start here and sign up through this link because you get some deals and stuff like that. So those are the two I recommend, is Bandzoogle and Kajabi. There are a lot of great platforms in between. In Rock Your Email List, I will show you ActiveCampaign. I'll probably be doing a demo for Flowdesk, and there's demos for ActiveCampaign and MailChimp. We do a lot of stuff in MailChimp because I know that's very common for musicians. They've been changing their model a little bit recently, so I'm shying away from MailChimp. But again, if you're already in it, use it. The platform that you use is the platform for you. Now, most of these platforms make it really, really easy to switch platforms. You export your lists with the tags, and we'll talk about tags in a second, segments, all that stuff, and you import it into the next list. You just need to prove and say, yes, I got permission to collect these emails. You cannot collect emails illegally, meaning like your contacts, and call it an email list. People have had to have opted in. Again, we will talk about that. Okay, cool. All right, so this is the link for Kajabi below. If you want to try it out, use that link. If you wanted to try out Bandzoogle, go to inthekey.co/make-a-site. Cool. I'm going to get rid of these banners now. All right, so let's move on to a couple more tech things. Tech things, because today is the tech day. Here's the flow for technology. Take a screenshot of this, everybody. I'm going to walk through this very slowly. Okay, so don't get overwhelmed. There's a lot of words, and they are all in bold because they're all important. The way I want you to think about the technology and where you think you might get stopped is to follow the journey of the subscriber, like literally like the actions that they take. We talked about the subscriber journey yesterday. They come in as subscribers, not yet fans. It's your job to turn them into fans through your email content. They come in as a subscriber, they become a fan, they buy something, they become a super fan, and then they become an advocate. So that's their journey. But let's talk about their flow. So for those of you that are musicians, you've dealt with audio flow. When you are singing in the mic, but you're not seeing the signal, you have to follow, okay, like the mic is plugged in. Let's follow the mic cable. Okay, it's in our interface. Great. The XLR cable is plugged in there. The interface is plugged into the computer. Okay, cool. Let's go check our settings and our MIDI input and our audio input. So we're checking the signal flow and trying to find where the block is. This is how we think of the tech for our email list. So we start with, where's the subscriber coming from? We will get into this element more tomorrow because tomorrow is the awareness and growth day, but they could be coming from a Facebook ad that you're running. They could be coming from a cross promotion you did with another artist. They could be coming from just you posting on social media like, hey, I have this free song I want to give away. you're telling them to go to a page. It might be the homepage of your website if the form is very clear and front and center and they don't need to search around for it. It might be what we call a landing page, where it's just the form that says, hey, I have a thing to give you, put in your name and email, and I'll get you the thing, right? So that's our landing page, where you're going to be giving away what we call a lead magnet or the opt-in item. So this can be anything. And most platforms, including the basic platforms, make it very easy for you to attach a thing that you're going to give away to that form. So someone puts in their first name and email. By the way, you want to collect as little information as possible, but you definitely want the first name and you definitely want their email. If you are touring a lot, it's not the worst thing to say what state or what country are you in, but the more information they have to fill out, the less likely they're going to click submit, and you want that submit button. So keep that form. Don't get fancy with it. Don't run polls right out. You just want the name and the email. You can find out stuff later and segment them later. Okay. In terms of stuff to give away, you want it to be very easily consumable. So a song is great. And for those of you who are like, people don't listen to MP3s anymore, it's not about the song. It's about the gesture. We're honoring their time and their email. And we're saying, hey, I created this thing and I want to give this to you in exchange for you giving me your email. We want to honor that email. So it's fine if you don't think people listen. And here's the thing. I give away a bundle of songs in a zip file. You can't download zip files on mobile, yet 46% of people are downloading on mobile. I know this. It's the gesture. And people will make it work. They will go figure out how to do it. In my welcome email, we'll talk about this, but I give them very explicit directions. Here's how to go get those files, if you really want them. So you can give a bundle of songs. If you have a ton of music out and you really want to introduce yourself, I give one from each album. You can give a single song. You could give a discount code to your merch store. You want to stay away from stuff that is like very super fan oriented, like a behind the scenes video for someone who really hasn't heard of you, but maybe just is curious. They're not going to be interested in that. They're not super fans yet. So don't think that that's really interesting. That's great content for down the line, but you want to keep it really simple and really easily consumable for someone who doesn't know you, and something that really represents you as a brand so that they can get to know you right away. Cool. So that's the landing page. That's the first place someone comes to you, right? So the next thing is they fill out that form, they click submit. So then what happens is beep, boop, beep, 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 beep. My amplifiers know that that's my techie sound when we are going in and out of Zoom calls into breakout rooms. Beep. The internet gremlins take that information and send it to your email platform, whether that is Bandzoogle or MailChimp or Kajabi. They are sending that information to the list that you have chosen for that form. What happens automatically is they will get an automatic email saying whatever it is you say. And we're going to talk about welcome emails later, but they'll get their welcome email, which will be the #1 most open email that you ever send. Will have the highest open rate ever. So it's a great opportunity to do some important things, not just say, thanks for signing up for my email list. Here's your download. We're wasting a huge opportunity. There's a lot of real estate that they're going to look through. They're going to want the thing that they signed up for. So we put the thing at the bottom. We'll talk more about that. I can't help myself. I get ahead of myself. So that's what's happening. So person comes to landing page. They fill out the form. Their information goes to your mailing list platform. They get sent an automatic email. That happens even on the basic platforms. Cool. That is where the delivery of the thing happens. So that is a tech block for some people. How do I get them the song? You don't need to do that on your webpage. You can do that from the mailing list portion of this process. So for some of you, if it is Bandzoogle, it will also be on your Bandzoogle dashboard. But if you're using a different site, you do that through the actual platform. So when you're writing that email, there will be a place that's like, okay, let's put a link here. Instead of a link, let's have it attach a file and have it go to a file download. And you can upload your song there and it will be hosted on that mailing platform. And they'll just be able to click that and they'll see the download. That is generally how that works. I'm not going to get too specific with the nitty-gritty details of that, but that's how that works, right? So that's how they get the delivery of the thing in that first email, right? The fact that they signed up now triggers your automated series that you've created, which we'll talk more about. Yesterday, your homework was to create some nurture series, an outline for the nurture series, not even write the nurture series. That's what comes after your welcome series. And we'll also talk about Rise series, which is once you've developed that relationship, they've gotten to know you, it's going to be very, very easy to sell them a specific thing. So this all happens inside of your email platform. The Rise series and where you're sending them might be, selling something on your merch store. It might be sending them to buy something on Amazon if you're working on charts or something like that, right? We want to do some sales, or maybe it's a streaming platform, but it's going to be connected to wherever you're trying to send them to. So that's when we go back out into the world, right? So we've got our landing page, they're coming in, the tech happens, they're in the email platform. We send them some email series that we set up and automate. I'll talk about automate in a second. And then we sell to them and they're going out into the world to go buy the things. Cool. That is the flow of the technology. So where do you get stopped in that flow? Do you need to create a landing page? Do you need to have figure out the thing that you're going to give away to them? It makes it much easier to talk about your list, by the way, if you have something to give away, because then it's not like, join my list. It's like, I have something to give you. Where should I send it? That's the way you want to say that, by the way. We will never again say, join my email list. We won't say it. Okay. All right. Next slide. Take a screenshot of this, because this is the technology and you can really use it as a checklist. Like, I've got this handled, I got this handled, I got this handled, I got this handled. Cool. This is your checklist. The next part I want to talk about is the word I've been saying so many times. Automation. Automation, automation, automation. Automation is the idea that it is automatic. You set it up, and then you can go on vacation or get kidnapped by aliens, and they will still be getting engagement emails from you, which is amazing. Automation is why I do not stress about whether or not this month I've sent an email to my list. I send an email to my list, a broadcast. Broadcast, let's just define this really quickly, is a one-time email. The email is sent on your timing. So if you have a show on Friday, you send out a broadcast saying, I have a show on Friday. That email is one and done. You can repurpose these emails. So if something great happened, like, hey, I was just featured in People magazine for the social justice choir that I worked on with Martin Luther King's goddaughter. True story, happened in February. That's interesting. And yes, I wanted to send that out real time to my list. And I took the copy of that and I added that to a nurture series. And I just changed the language a little bit to be like, hey, this thing happened during Black History Month of 2021. And so now it's timeless. So someone in 2025 can read this in my nurture series and it's still timeless. But at the time, it was just a broadcast because it was like, I want this to go out to my current list right now. So what that means is if someone signs up tomorrow and you sent a broadcast out today, the people that signed up tomorrow are not going to get the broadcast unless you repurpose it for later, which I do think is always a great idea to repurpose your content. So that's a broadcast. I do not stress about sending out broadcasts. It's what we, most of us have called newsletters in the past. It's the thing that you're like, I got to write this and send it out and give the update, So I send those out when I have something to talk about. That's it. And sometimes that's like once a month. Sometimes it's like very rarely it's twice a month. And sometimes it's once every 6 months. But I know that my list is still getting emails from me because I have automated series set up. So yesterday we went through very quickly. There's a bunch of series. We've got our welcome series. That's the first series they get. They only get it once. And then nurture series, which we sort of crafted 30 different kinds of emails. They're not going to get 30 emails. They will take those nurture series, and we'll talk a little bit more about this on the engagement day, which is in 2 days, day 4. But we'll make groups of nurture series. So I have nurture 1. That's where I pulled my Cinderella story. I pulled this song story. I pulled shining a light on someone else. And I sort of like made a group of 5 emails and I send them once a week. So that's like 5 weeks covered, right? And then I have nurture series 2. So I take those 30 emails and you can send them out every 2 weeks. So think about it. If you have 30 emails written, all your stories, by the way, it took me 2 weeks to sit down and write those 30 emails. Once I had my outline, I was like, cool, I know what I'm going to write. Now I just need to write them and then I need to format them. So I advise everyone to create a Google Doc or a Word document just to write out the stuff, and do not put your head into tech mode yet until they're all written out. And then you can go format them and put the links in and like make sure this one flows to the next one and you separate it out by 7 days. Like do that stuff later. It takes up a very different part of your brain. So nugget of the day, write the emails separately, and then you have them. If you ever switch platforms, you won't have to go into platform, copy and paste. It's going to be so much easier to just copy from a master document. Cool. Okay, cool. So what was I saying? Who the heck knows? Series. Okay. automated. So we've got our welcome series, and then we've got a nurture series, which is not, again, all 30 emails, but it's a selection. So it's nurture series 1. We've got Rise series, where we're focusing on something that's evergreen, meaning it lives forever. Like, so an item in your store, for example, or a bundle of records that you've done in the past. You can absolutely do Rise series if you have a new record out. That can be a series that you write, and then you say, okay, I'm going to send my whole list through a series. So it's a little more real time, but it's still automated. You've still set yourself up so you can set that to go, right? It's a very cool thing. So I knew I wanted to invite you all to this email challenge. So what I did was I wrote the invitation emails, and then I set it to say, okay, I want these, I think it's 4 emails to go out over like every 4 or 5 days. So I wrote them all, and then I set it to go. And then I worked on my album that's coming out in July, because I had a lot of vocals to record and my back was out, and it's hard to record vocals from bed. So I had that set up for myself, and I knew that you were still getting the invitations, and I didn't have to stress out about that. It is lovely. Same thing with my list. I wanted to let my fan, so I have 2 lists, just so you know. I have my musician list, and then I have my fan list. So I let my fans know that I'm working on this record and that I had a single come out, and I wanted to tell them more about the next single coming out. So I had all the links and everything. So I created a small series of just record announcement, and I sent that to go, and then I got to go work on the record. So the automated series is, let's go through this slide. You work up front and then you leave it. Right? So it's a little up front and then you leave it. It's so worth it, because the amount of work I don't have to do now on my email list is mind-boggling. It does not stress me out. It used to totally stress me out. It would take me an entire day to write a broadcast email, to write a newsletter. Like, I don't know why. I don't know where the time went, but it was some weird gremlin email thing that would have me literally take 8 hours to send one of these things out. No longer. Like, I'm so done with that. Second thing about automated emails, it's based on, unlike a broadcast, which is based on your timing, what you've got going on in your life, the automated emails are based on a subscriber's timing. Their behavior triggers when the email sends or when a series starts. The easiest example of that is their behavior is they sign up for your email list. That's the behavior. That triggers the welcome series. And then they get those emails spread out over time, right? Very simple. Maybe when they buy something, they get a thank you series. Maybe when they click on something, it's like, oh, you're interested in this, but you haven't purchased it yet. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do by tagging people and then having the tag be the trigger for another series. We can get very complicated with this. We're not going to on this call, but it is very cool. And then it really gives them a catered experience according to what they're clicking on and what they're doing and what their interests are and where they came from. Maybe they came from a live show. You can have a different segment for that part of your list. The last thing about automated emails, which I'm sort of already saying, is there are ways to get personal so that it feels like it's going out in real time. And one is to talk to them as one person, which I mentioned yesterday. Instead of saying, hey guys, thanks for coming to my show. It's like, no, I am so grateful for you. I hope you liked this. Wasn't it funny when I did this? You know, that's in general. And also use merge tags. Merge tags are the thing that every platform allows you to do to personalize an email. So when someone, this is why it's so important to collect their first name, because a merge tag essentially says that you can say, hey, and it will say merge tag. And it might have like, you know, weird little brackets on the side of that first name. But what it shows up to them is, hey, Molly. It will show their first name. And even though they know they're on a list, it feels really nice to see your name. And you don't even need to do it in the beginning. You could do it towards the end. Like, I'm really hoping you love this song, Molly. Merge tag, right? Okay. So that is one thing that we like to do. I like to do that in my automations and in my broadcasts. Cool. All right. How are we doing? Are you guys with me? Take a big breath, everybody. Oh yeah, Molly's always back. Molly's back. She's my avatar. My avatars. All right. Next. Other stuff. You guys, other stuff. This is like a real email master technical term. Stuff. Okay, let's talk about deliverability. I'm so glad you guys are still here with me. Deliverability is a really, really complicated idea that has nothing to do with open rates. And I mentioned it yesterday, but it is about the internet gremlins making sure that your email is not spam. So there's a couple of things about deliverability. You want to make sure that your emails are actually getting delivered, even if it's going into someone's spam box, which we'll talk about how to avoid later. Even if it's going into someone's spam, that means it got delivered. right? Your email got through the Gmail wall or the Yahoo wall or the, whatever their mailer, it's not a platform, but whoever they are, whatever email system that they're using, your email got through. And there are a couple things, including your list's health. If you have a list and only 5% of the people on the list ever open your email, that actually translate to this might be a spam list. So that's why we want to clean our lists. I will talk about that in a second. I got some emails from you being like, I cleaned my whole list. Don't clean your lists yet. We want to re-engage them first and get people back that might have gotten lost along the way. We bring the sheep back and then we get rid of the people that are actually gone. That's cleaning your list. And that's also deleting people that have unsubscribed. What I always do is I export my list before I do a mass clean, and I delete the emails where people have unsubscribed because you cannot communicate with them anymore. The only reason I keep them on a list is if they have purchased something or they are in a program of mine so that I can cater to their past actions if they have any questions about programs they're in. And I've done that. I bought programs where I'm like, cool, I don't need the emails anymore. And I've unsubscribed, but I still get emails about the program, which is legal. And there's ways that different platforms allow you to do that. Like Kajabi allows you to send announcements to people in a program, even if they've unsubscribed, because it's not a marketing email technically. So that's a thing. So deliverability, we want to make sure that our lists are healthy to increase our deliverability. Another term that gets out there is segmenting. And this is a great thing, a great solution for people that are like, I have my teaching students and I also have my fans. Who are my people? Just say two or twins, or give me like a 2-word in the comments if you have multiple avatars, different people that you're serving that you may want to create lists for. And you're wondering, do I need 2 different accounts, 2 different services? Is this one list? Do I send everyone everything? How do I do this? So who are my 2 people, two hats, 2, maybe you're 3 even. Because segmenting is the way to cure this. First of all, just big picture branding. People are following you because of you. Maybe they are following you for a specific service or product that you offer, your music or your composing or your teaching or your other side business or whatever, but they are following you. And it's very, very presumptuous of us to assume that people only like one thing. So for those of us that are like, why? Oh my gosh, you guys, that was the loudest thing on my phone. I didn't even know. So it's very presumptuous of us to assume that they're not going to be interested in the other thing. So for example, if you're like, well, I play violin in this classical orchestra, but then I have a heavy metal band, like those are 2 different avatars for sure. But to never talk about one to the other, like there are going to be some people that are A, following you for you and your talent, but B, also will be very interested in the other thing you're into. So I'm a big fan of, as much as possible, keeping one list, but being very responsible about segmenting them right up front. So if you have a website, let's just go with this metal versus orchestra conundrum. So if you have a website for your orchestra and you're releasing music there and people are signing up for your website, for your email list through the orchestra website, as soon as they come in, you can tag them. So in your email platform, it will be a way for you to say, okay, this person came from orchestra, so you can tag them as interest. I always like to put the action word first. So interest, they showed interest, orchestra. If they signed up from your other site, you can say interest metal. If they clicked on something that is going to matter to you later, you don't want to tag them for every behavior, but they clicked on something and didn't buy like your CD, you can say clicked CD. So you can email all the people later that clicked but didn't buy and say, hey, I saw you were interested. Like, was the link not working? Is it too expensive? Like, I'd love to give you a discount code. Like, here's a 10% off code. Like, you can get some real good extra sales just by knowing who showed interest or clicked. Purchase tags. There are all sorts of different tags that you can segment your list. And then you can say, okay, cool. I've got this very, very orchestra specific thing. I'm going to send it only to the people that have the tag, interest orchestra. And that's great. You can also send it to everyone and say, hey, you may be here because you love my orchestra stuff, but if you're here because of you like my metal stuff too, I've got this fun thing that you might like or you might not. No big deal. So either way, you have the option to segment your list. And if you ever think that you're going to want to send one email to everyone you know, then this is what you want to do. You don't need to have 2 accounts and 2 lists and all that stuff. You just want to be really responsible of segmenting them right at the top. Cool. So yeah, I totally get there's 2 bands, two hats, 2 things. Absolutely. So yeah, I love this. If sometimes you want to segment and other times you want to write together, then that's your answer right there. So you're segmenting. It is very rare where you will have 2 totally different lists unless you have like a yoga studio and then you have your heavy metal band. Like you those are 2 businesses, right? So the same way you would have different business credit cards, then you would probably have 2 lists. But for the most part, I would say that people are following you and the 2 lists totally make sense. Okay, so that also got into list splits. I wanted to cover that as well. Okay, cool. So those are some techie words. We're going to pause. I know there's so many questions, but I want to do the giveaway. But first of all, I want to announce that yesterday's winner, everyone, was Tina. Tina won the moon. I'm finding her so we can all go follow her on Instagram. She won the new moon bundle, which is just so great. Tina Lee Johnson, you all, we are following Tina. Tina is a Seattle, Tacoma, Washington area based woman playing ukulele and the Kala U bass. And Instagram is where she posts her works in progress and challenge videos. So @ukulele. We're looking for the ukulele player. Everyone see that? Congratulations, Tina. Okay, go follow Tina. And today's giveaway, and I'll tell you how to win this if you want it. Take a screenshot of this, share in your Instagram story or feed, and follow. You have to follow and tag in the Key of Success. And today's prize is these really awesome earbuds, created the technology that Apple uses by a Black-owned business called Love Buds. And these things are awesome. You're going to get a pair of these when you do this. Take a screenshot, share in the IG feed or story, follow and tag in the Key of Success. You absolutely, if you're not on Instagram, for today only, you can do this on Facebook. You can share to your Facebook page or profile and tag also in the Key of Success. It's my in the Key of Success page. Okay. I prefer you do it on Instagram. That's where I'm going to be checking, but only if you're not on Instagram, you can do it on Facebook. Okay. So yay, Tina. Tomorrow I'll announce today's winner. So everyone, I'm going to give everyone like a, second to take a sip of water, take a big breath, go do this giveaway. And I'm going to answer a couple of questions that I know came up already while you all are doing this. So we're going to keep it chill. Guys, I'm being so laser with you. I know I'm talking fast. You can watch back at half speed. This is the exact link where this will live. If you're watching on YouTube, it will also be in the Facebook group. So you can absolutely come back and watch this back slower. I have gotten a couple questions over email. You guys are real cute. I'd prefer you tag me in the group so that everyone can see my answers. So I'm going to try to answer some stuff right here. First, the first question I'm getting is, what about my platform? You guys, there are so many platforms out there and I don't know all of them. I know a lot of them and I've actually had individual conversations with a lot of representatives from these companies. There are no platforms that I'm like, that's a terrible idea, because I very firmly believe that if you know your platform, you will be successful. And yes, there are reasons to switch platforms and to upgrade and to pay a little bit more a month. I am a big fan of you get what you pay for. And I think that is very true with a lot of these. But what you want to be thinking about to determine what platform is best for you is A, your current list size, and B, your intended growth. So if you're playing a big release game and you're about to do a bunch of live streams or even tour, because I know that's sort of starting to come back and you're expecting some growth, don't lock yourself into a program where you're paying $30 a month and then the next tier is like $90 a month. Unless you're ready to pay $90 a month, and just like be okay with that. That's the cost of doing business. Y'all, this is a business. And the whole, like, I don't want to pay for one of the tools that's going to have me be able to make money over and over and over again, because that's what your email list is. It is your freaking ATM. That is how this list has worked for me. I stopped touring and then 3 years later came out with my next record and I was like, no one's going to show up for this. And I raised $20,000. My list was less than 2,000 people. Okay. It's because of the nurturing and the all the stuff I had set up. And that's what we're talking about here. So this is one of the most underutilized tools in a musician's career. I know that for a fact. I've talked to thousands of musicians on different stages, backstage, on these calls, answered questions in my Facebook groups, in Amplify. Like, I know that this is like a sticky point and it takes something to set it up, but I swear to you, I promise you, it is so worth it. And then the connection you're getting, like, this is why we write music. We want people to hear it and react and tell us and share it. And this is the way to scale that quickly. It's so powerful and it's so beautiful and it's so what your music deserves. So that all being said, do not nickel and dime this. When you find a platform, you're like, yes, this feels good. I love the interface. Just like love on it. Tina, thank you so much for posting your URL for your Instagram. We're all going to go follow you. I'm really psyched about this. Okay. So that was one question I got. Like, really, people were like, but tell me about my platform. I could, but we'd be here forever because there's just so many of them and there are new ones popping up. So just like breathe into it. Do a little reading. The best thing you can do, and this is a bonus homework, is to watch like a couple, like 10 minutes worth of YouTube videos or tutorials within the site and just get to know, be a master of that tool. Like, just be a master at it, right? So that was one question. The other question I got, you guys, you're so cute because I've mentioned Rock Your Email List. You're like, I'm ready. So I don't want to keep emailing out the link. I'm just going to give it to you now. I opened up the cart a little early. It's in thekey.co/email course. Yes, there's a payment plan. I put in a bunch of bonuses that are going to last for the next week. And if you sign up during this, I'll keep it there. If you sign up during this challenge, you get a Zoom call with me. It's a group Zoom call. This is really, really fun. We drink wine. So that's between now and Saturday at 4 p.m. So that's the link. If you're like, yes, I know this is me and I want to do the deep dive and spend a lot more time with Cheryl, then this is your ticket. I was going to announce it tomorrow. But, and it will be announced tomorrow publicly, but there you go. Okay. So I wanted to give that to you because I got a lot of emails about it. And yes, you're all adorable. All right. So let's move on because we've got some stuff to do. I hope that giveaway is very clear. We're getting some earbuds today. I'm excited about that. The last thing before the Q&A is your challenge assignment. Let me hide this. Hold on. Ready? We're going to talk about this really quickly. Your challenge is to write one email, just one email, warm up your sleepy list. So sleepy to me means you have not written them in a while. And that could be for a variety of reasons. Like you just were like, screw this, I hate email. It could be you didn't really have anything going on, that all your shows got canceled. You're like, I don't have anything to talk about. Tell me in the chat box. Like if you're one of these people that has a sleepy list, meaning you have a list, you just haven't written them, in a while, in a while could mean whatever to you. If you used to write them once a week and you haven't written in 2 months, that could be a while. It could be you haven't written them in 6 years. That's a while too. And it's okay. Okay. So I want to just distinguish this very quickly from a re-engagement series. A re-engagement series is not about you being sleepy, but about them being sleepy. So a re-engagement series is when you have a list and you're noticing that your open rates are going down and down and down, and there are people that haven't opened. So a lot of, especially the designated and advanced platforms, allow you to tag people that haven't opened in a certain amount of time. So the parameters for me is I make sure that they've been on my list for at least 6 months. And then after that first 6 months, I start watching them and I have a tag set up. So if in another 6 months, so they've been on my list a year, they haven't opened an email in 6 months, they get tagged unengaged. When that tag appears, they immediately get sent to a re-engagement series. And this series is all about getting them to open the emails. So the subject lines in this series are like baller subject lines. You get my whole engagement series in Rock Your Email List, by the way. So you just like copy and paste it. And the idea is you get them to open the email. And then when they click something inside the email, like a free blog post or a free song or something that's like, hey, just making sure you're okay. Here's the thing. Once they click, they get removed from that series and then they're back. I've had people do this. My friend Michael Elsner, who teaches this amazing licensing course, just did this with his list. And he's like, oh my God, I got 30% of my people back. Like, and then after the re-engagement series, if people still don't click and they're really not engaged, then you delete them because you need the clean list for the deliverability. So what I'm talking about here in the challenge assignment is not re-engaging with your unopens. That's a different thing. And we will talk more about that on the engagement day of this challenge. Today is for you to write an email because you haven't written to your email list in a while. So you've been the sleepy one. So I get this question a lot. How do I like suddenly start writing my list again? You kind of welcome them again. You get real with them. So for those of you who are like, I feel guilty, or I'm not sure what to say, that's what you say. That's what you say. You just be real with them. You say, you're here on this list, maybe, and you can like go through a couple of options of how people signed up. Like maybe because you heard me live a couple of years ago, or maybe because you downloaded this thing or whatever. But I just wanted to say, I'm so sorry that I have been MIA, and I swear I wasn't kidnapped by aliens. You know, make it out in your language. But I just wanted to let you know that I'm back and this is what's up. This is what even if you don't have anything up and you're just building your career right now and thinking about it, you can say, I'm thinking about my music career again. Or 2020 threw me for a loop and I didn't know what to say. And there's so much stuff going on in the world and I didn't want to offend or I just didn't know what I thought. Whatever's there for you. I'm just throwing stuff out. Like I'm trying to just give you some ideas, but whatever is there for you, you can just be real with them and just say that. Like, I haven't been here because I haven't been here. And then you say what you're committed to, what's actually coming up. We talk about this in our welcome email, which we're doing tomorrow. But the welcome email, you set up their expectations so clearly that they're like, oh, of course. So you tell them that you're coming out with new music, or you're reconsidering your whole music sound and you're thinking about this stuff. Like whatever's going on, it's worth talking about, even if you don't think it's anything. Remember I said yesterday, you are not your ideal fan. Don't assume that because you don't think it's interesting that they're not going to. I used to think that my scuba diving job was super boring until a PR company was like, I'm sorry, you scuba dove for the government before you were a musician. Can you say more about that? Because like, that's a headline. And I'm like, what? It was like the most boring, like what? Like we just don't know. We just don't know. So you absolutely can write this email, set their expectations up. You can say, I've got this stuff coming out. I'm going to let you know when I've got CDs and merch for sale. Like, yes, tell them that you're going to sell to them so that when you do sell to them, they're like, oh yeah, she said she was going to do that. It's like, no big deal. By the way, that's like a huge, huge piece of how to make the selling actually work is by setting them up in this, this warm-up email and or your welcome emails. So you want to set up their expectations, what they can expect from you. If you plan on writing once a month, great. Say, I'm going to write once a month. You can say, I'm going to send you a couple emails here and there. Like you can be nebulous about it, but tell them what to expect and then give value. Say, because I'm so happy you're still here, I wanted to give you this demo of a new song, or I wanted to share this behind the scenes video. It's only available to you. Give them something exclusive, make them feel special, and give them some content to remind them, oh yeah, I signed up because I love her guitar playing. I love this voice. I love whatever, right? So your homework, and here's the thing, if you have an active list right now, write this email anyway, because there will be a time, put it in your folder, your email folder. You should have an email folder now. You should have that Word document or your Google Doc, wherever you're keeping all of your content with your subject lines, everything, get organized, put this email in there and save it for safekeeping so that you know if you ever decide to go on a tropical vacation for 6 months and you ditch your list, that you can come back and warm them up again. I mean, ideally at that point, you will have learned enough here that you can set them up and say, I'm going away for 6 months. See you. I'll send you pictures. You'll have a relationship with them, but just write this email anyway. It's a really good practice to like find your voice and be really real with people without dumping on them. There's a really great saying that I heard and or came up with, I can't remember, that is, there's a difference between sharing your scars versus your scabs. So scabs are like the thing that just like you cut yourself and it just happened and it's still gross and wet and ugh. Scars are the thing that after it's healed, you can still see. So when you're writing your email list, I'm a big fan of getting personal, but only if it's a scar, not a scab, which means there's something that you've learned from it That's what people are going to connect to. Sharing the scab is like you're in it right now. And that ends up being more about like venting to people, which is great for friends and bandmates and other people. And sometimes we even do that in Amplify, but you want to just be responsible. You want to share your stories and what people are going to connect to, especially if there's some darker stuff there. I'm a big fan of just really sharing that from a place of here's the data. Here's what is so, right? And here's what I'm taking away. So we want to be responsible about that. So when I say be real and get vulnerable, like totally do it. Be responsible in how you do that, right? Okay. Yeah, cool. The bonus challenge assignment is to watch 10 minutes of tutorials on your chosen email platform. Get good at this platform. It's so empowering. So empowering. Okay. Okay, so take a screenshot of this. I'm not going to come back to it. That is the challenge assignment. I'm about to get into the Q&As. And just so you know, tomorrow is all about awareness and growth. That we're going to talk more about landing pages, opt-ins, talking about your list and growing your list beyond your BFF and your mom. This might be one of the blocks. So if you're like cool with technology, tomorrow's going to be your day, right? We're going through this as we go through the journey of the subscriber, like the landing page, then they go to the tech and then they get the email. So we're looking at this of, I need my strategy. Cool. I got that. Check. Now I need the technology set up. Cool. Got that. Now I need to grow the list. Cool. And we're going to talk about the emails that we're going to be writing. That's actually got to be something that we have in place. The welcome series gets put in place. So we're sort of like, okay, in this 5 days, we're looking at where do we get stopped? So if you're like, I really want to grow my list, I just don't know how, tomorrow's you're going to be your day. And we have new prizes tomorrow. Prizes keep getting better and better. So prizes tomorrow are going to be awesome. And we'll announce today's winner. So there is that. All right. So I'm back and I'm here for all of the questions. Get excited. All right. So I'm going to scroll back here. And let's see. Let's find some questions. There's some questions about joining your list. We're going to totally cover that tomorrow. Love those. And here's a good one. How do we do the assignment if we don't have a list? Well, the assignment from yesterday is easy to do without a list, which is, create your outline for all the stories you want to talk about. Today's assignment is also just writing an email. So we're not sending an email. We're just writing it. The assignment is just write it. Don't overthink this, people. Write the email. You're setting yourself up to have a list that works for you. So write this email and then you have it in your arsenal of emails because we're going to be writing some more this week. And I'm going to give you opportunities to get a lot more emails done. And you're going to have that email in the, okay, I have a sleepy list. I went away. So when you do have a list, you're going to have that language down. You're going to have that ready to go. So you don't need a list. You just need to write it out or write it on a pad. We're just writing the email. We're not sending it. We're not formatting it. We're not even putting it. And we're also choosing our platform. If you haven't chosen a platform yet, and we're watching some tutorial videos. Cool. Okay. Guys, I'm not showing the assignments again. I said take a screenshot. So you can go back and watch this and it will show up in how far? In like 49 minutes probably. So go to like 49 minutes in and you can grab the screenshot of that. Okay, cool. Do I have an example of a good welcome list email? Yes, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. And you can actually get my welcome lists, welcome emails, swipe files. And I'll tell you how to do that. Realistic number of subscribers. Let's see this question. I get that it depends on the person. I have 100 subscribers now and you want to triple in a year. Is that legit expectation? Yeah, it's really hard to like pick numbers for sure. But I love a good triple goal. You guys see how like spazzy my hair just got? It's like humid in here all of a sudden. So really great question. I think tripling any goal is a really great goal. So if you have 100 now and you want to triple by the end of the year, let's say by the end of the year. I see you. Absolutely. You'll have a better idea tomorrow after I give you some ideas. You might be able to do that in like a month, by the way. Okay. So let's see what else. That's a great question. Fans hear your songs for free on Spotify. What's a better lead magnet than free song downloads? I told you, it does not matter that they can hear it on Spotify. It's about the gesture of the gift. People like still do download songs, by the way, and not everyone is on Spotify, as I learned from my fans who I was like, you guys, my new single's on Spotify. And everyone's like, can we buy it? And I was like, I love you. Also, okay. Great question. What do I do with archived emails? So I'm assuming that you mean your broadcasts. So when you send out a broadcast, like, hey, I have a show on Friday, and then the show happens, you don't want that email to go out again. So it's not part of a future automated series. It can just live there. I like to keep it there because you never know. You're not going to delete it. You want the data because you'll be able to see in a week or 2 weeks, probably anyone that's going to open it will have opened it, right? So you get to see how effective was that subject line. Did people open it? How effective was the, people clicking on it? Did people actually engage? Because if they didn't engage, then there's some information for you, right? You're like, okay, cool. I need to change how I talk about the thing that I want people to click on. You guys, I haven't said this yet, but the subject line's job is to get the open. I realize this is so important, and I keep thinking I'm saving it for something, but I'm giving it to you now. The job of the subject line is to get the open. The job of the email body, the copy of the email, is to get the click. The job of the place that they land once they click, so the landing page, which may be your merch store, it may be to follow you on Instagram, whatever, is to get the sale or to get the action to happen, right? So if you are saying, follow me on Instagram in the email, and then they click on your Instagram and it's like weird images, it's not on brand, and it doesn't feel like you, they're not going to close the deal. They're not going to follow you, right? They go to the merch store and it's like ugly merch or too expensive or whatever. So it's the job of the landing page to sell. So often I see the selling happen in the subject line, or even worse, people are trying to summarize the whole email in the subject line, okay, here's the thing. Here's the problem with that. If you summarize the email in the subject line and they read the subject line, they're not going to need to open the email. So your open rates are going to go down. They're not going to click. They're probably not, if it's like new album out on Friday, like what else do they need to know? Like, that's not going to help them become bigger fans, right? So we'll talk more about that on the engagement day, which is day 4, about different ways to really utilize things to put in your subject lines. But that is important to know. Okay, the job of the subject line is to get the open. The job of the copy is to get the click. The job of the place they land is to close the deal, whatever that is, right? Whatever it is that you want them to do. I hope that helps. There you go. And that was in the workbook too, or the worksheet. So glad I got to put that in there. A good question. So if you write this email, the homework, and the question is, should I send it to my list? If I have a list or platform, like, sure, if you're ready to go, I would maybe just like do the challenge, like wait till Saturday. If you haven't written them in 5 years, like waiting 4 more days is not going to be the worst thing in the world. Just saying. Because you might get some ideas about how you want to write that email and the expectations you want to set, because you may not know what you want to be doing with email until the end of this challenge. So maybe wait till the weekend before acting. Like, people, don't delete anything yet. Don't delete contacts. Don't like go wild. We're just writing and setting ourselves up. Like, do this with me. I designed this for you to make this easy, and then also to set yourself up so that whatever you do have right now, we can amplify. Okay. So let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. Does my platform track all the analytics for you? Most of them do track analytics. Like, and I'm assuming you mean like, let's see, Eric. Hey, Kajabi tracks, and actually, I would say that all of the email platforms that I know of track the percentage of people that opened it, the percentage of people that clicked, the percentage of people that it bounced to, so their emails might not be valid anymore, the percentage of people that unsubscribe. A lot of times I get this question. So I hope that helps, Eric. So yes, for those of you who are wondering and weren't here in the beginning, if you want a very basic website designer and email combined, I always suggest Bandzoogle. You can go to indakey.co/make a site and you get 2 free weeks and a discount and stuff. And if you're like, yes, I'm ready to dig in and I really want to like go hardcore with this, I would strongly suggest Kajabi. That's what I've used. And I've used about 4 different platforms. You can go to indakey.co/Kajabi. And you will get a discount and free trial there to explore inside there. By the way, if you end up signing up for Kajabi and you like end up being like, this is my site, I give you a free Zoom call with me, like one-on-one, to make sure that you're totally set up, because that's how much I believe in this site and how much I think it can work for you and your goals. So just I put that out there. That's a thing that I do that I forgot about. Okay. But that was a great question. So yeah, are there better specific days to release things? No, you got to know your audience. I used to think there was. Time of day is interesting. When people wake up on a normal work day, it's usually between 6 and 8 a.m. their time, and they're doing a lot of stuff. So if you're asking them to take an action, that's not the best time to send an email. So I like the between 8 and 10 in the morning, like after they've sort of gotten the first stuff going. And then I also like mid-afternoon, like when they're kind of like maybe bored in the workday, looking for something to distract them. That's when I show up. So that's good timing. I did send an email. Like one of my highest open email was the one that I talked about yesterday that I sent to my fan list last summer. And it was kind of on a whim. It was 10 o'clock at night on a Thursday. And it was the, should I do it email? Should I take out a Grammy ad in the Billboard magazine, Grammy preview ad for my New Age record? And it was the highest open rate, the highest response rate, highest click rate, and like raised like thousands of dollars in 48 hours because of that email. And I'm always like, don't send it at night. So it's, I don't know. You got to know your audience. You know, you can get some good info from your Facebook and Instagram insights tab, seeing when people are most engaged, like online. If they're like on Instagram, that probably means they're on their phone. There's a good chance that they'll read your emails at that time. So maybe use that data to inform when you send it. But I don't get crazy over the times and that stuff. Cool. I hope that helps. Okay. But great question. Thank you. Mary has a question. Oh, this is a great one. So you're sending an email this week as a concert reminder and a correction to a previous link. How does this fit in? I love that. So this is a broadcast, right? So you sent an email and the link was wrong. Tech gremlins got to you. I'm so sorry. So, that happens. It also is a great opportunity to show your humanness. We all try to be this like, I'm an artist. You're following someone who's legit. I swear. Who feels like that? I see you. This is an opportunity to be like, so I sent out this thing. Oops, correction. Here we go. Like no one has died on my watch from sending out a correction link. It's all good. It's all good. So just be really real about it. And just, you can even say like, I'm totally embarrassed or whatever it is you're feeling. Like maybe you're like, I'm sad because I don't want you to miss out on this. Like get really real with yourself, what's there, and then get it down to 1 or 2 sentences, and then share that. And I think that that's a great opportunity. Okay. It's a really, really good question. Love that. So Art asks, you're recording a new album. Congratulations, me too. Should I send an MP3 or a link in the welcome email? We're never sending attachments ever, 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 ever. The welcome email will 100% should be sent from your email platform, where that will be embedded and hosted on the email platform. So you definitely don't want to ever send attachments. And I don't actually think you can if you're doing email right. You guys, you're not sending emails to your entire contact list through Gmail. Like you have to, your emails to a mass email needs to have the option for them to unsubscribe at the bottom of the email. This is GDPR, like new regulations and stuff like that. And also just polite. People know that they can unsubscribe from lists. If there's not an unsubscribe button, people will go bananas. So if you can't just send BCC'd emails, and good Lord help you if you send CC'd emails to 100 people. Like, don't do it. It's illegal. So they should be able to unsubscribe, which means that you are using a hosting platform that we've talked about earlier today, which will allow you to embed the gift that you want to give them, whether it's sheet music or MP3, like you said. So no attachments. Cool. Okay. Great questions. You guys, if I missed your question and I'm like scrolling down, feel free to type it again. I'm not going to get mad if you like type it a couple times. So I'm just scrolling through because I really want to make sure I get to everyone's questions. And if you're in the Facebook group in the Key of Success, I am like going back and like trying to make sure I make sure everyone sees you. So Amy has a question. I don't think so. In the email, is it rude to be as real as to say the pandemic affected your income? So recording has been on pause. Is it wonky to mention money? No, guys, we're going to talk about this on the selling day. We have to like, especially if you're of my generation and older, we've been taught that like money is very private and we don't talk about money. It's like, and it's so stupid because we should be teaching finances in schools, like grade school, like it's bananas, right? So I am of the idea that as long as you are being tactful and speaking from your experiences, like, again, if you were to state what went on for you as data, as facts, no one's going to be like, you shouldn't be sharing this. Like, hey, normally I was making, 4 figures a month or even low 5 figures a month from touring. When touring stopped, that went down to 3 figures or 2 figures. Like I had to call off the recording because of the pandemic. By the way, if that was you, I so wish that you were in Amplify because we all pivoted real fast and have, like most people in Amplify had like really good financial years. So get yourself there. We'll talk about that later if that's interesting to you. But I think this is a great question. And again, it's about the scab, not the scar. The scar, not the scab. So, you've paused your recording and like you send an email like this, Amy, you might have some fans that are like, I want you to unpause that recording. How can I help? And you can be like, oh my God, that's amazing. I do have a contribution button, PayPal button on my website. Here you go. Be prepared for people to want to contribute to you when you share what's going on for you. That's what happened with me in this billboard ad. I was like, should I do this ad? I'm thinking about it. I was not going to fan fund this thing. And people were like, how can I pay for it? And one fan was like, I'll match $2,500 if you can get the rest of your fans to hit $2,500. I'm like, what? So great question. I don't think it's wonky to talk about money responsibly and from this was my experience, right? And there's no judgment, right? It's not there, you're sharing powerfully. So I love that. Really great. Gabrielle, Amplify. Yes. You guys, I wasn't going to talk about this either. Amplify is my mastermind. It's freaking awesome. It's like the best place on the internet. I open up enrollment twice a year and you can get on a wait list and I give you a lot of really cool stuff. So if you're interested, inthekey.co, you guys get that's the website, inthekey.co/amplify. If you're like, what is she talking about? And it's the most amazing musicians. And the common denominator is we are all in this for the long haul. It's not for people that are wondering if they want to do music. So there's that. inthekey.co/amplify. These are the things that I dork out about is community and like leveling up and communication. And it all happens here. Oh, look at my amplifiers are watching. You guys are so cute. Okay, great question, Hades. Hades, I think that's how you say it. Not to be dumb. No dumb questions here. Unless it's a dumb question, I'll let you know. But so far, I don't think so. But once I get this figured out, yes, I love the commitment. You are getting it figured out. I can use your contacts as a way to personally one at a time ask people if they would like to join my mailing list because they've been to shows. Absolutely. An invitation is a beautiful thing. And we will talk about that tomorrow. There is a way to do that authentically, but also like not have to write 1,000 personal emails or Facebook messages. But that is a very successful way to insta grow your list over a little bit of time. So absolutely not a dumb question. A great initial growth spurt tactic. Totally love that. Super great question here. The Tranquil. I like that. What if you have a new person on your list? I'm guessing, how do you separate the emails when sending to the old list? So great. So if you have a list that is sleepy, like you haven't written to them in a long time, but someone recently just joined, you should be able to, depending on your email platform, but most of the designated and advanced platforms allow you, and even I think some of the basics do too. I think Bandzoogle allows you to search by when they joined. So you can go through and select people who have joined in the past month, 2 months, whatever is the time frame you want, tag them as like with a temporary tag, like recently joined. And then when you want to send this sleepy email to them, like, hey, I'm back. Sorry about leaving you in the lurch for however long. You can say, I want to send this to everyone except the people with the recently joined tag. So it will go to everyone on your list except those people that you just tagged that had just joined. I think that's what you're asking. So therefore, I think that's what I'm answering. If I'm wrong, please feel free to clarify for me, because I think it's a great question. Mary, can I expand on money? Oh yeah, we'll talk about money for sure on day 5. Your demographic has no idea how little streaming yields. Would love to educate humorously. Yes. Streaming is a long game. We're talking about this in Amplify. Actually, we just had a couple Spotify experts come in, and it can be a game that you're playing with your audience to like get your streaming up, because, you know, it's 10,000 views will make you $30 ish, depending on a lot of things. 10,000 streams. So it's not about like, maybe it's not about getting the individual streams, but maybe it's about getting on playlists and having an impact day, because it's all about the algorithm. So you could actually send a broadcast to your email list saying like, listen, I'm not here to ask you to stream it once. I'm here to ask you to stream it over and over again on repeat all day long on Thursday, because it's my impact day and we're going to peak the algorithm, because the Spotify algorithm is the game we need to play. We need to be working with that algorithm. So you can get them engaged and have them share on their Facebook page. Like there's some cool stuff you can do for engagement with your list that is kind of about money. And you can tell them like, this is why this is important. And I love a good educational email being like, hey, this is inside music business stuff, and this is why this matters to me. Again, we'll talk about this in the Rise series, because there is an email in a Rise series that is all about why this is important to you. And most of the time people are just wondering they're on the outside of the industry. This is not their industry for most of our fans, right? So that is on us to really clearly explain why it's important to us, how it works in some cases, sometimes even how does the technology work. So there you go. Okay. Karen said, different series of nurture emails, 5 in each. Do you send them out to different people deliberately or randomly? Oh, I never do anything randomly. Or does everyone get every series eventually? The way I have it set up, I have it very linear. You get welcomed, you get one nurture series, you get a Rise series, you get a nurture series, you get a Rise series, you get a nurture series. I'll talk about this more on the engagement day, but just to sort of give you an overview, the nurture series I send out once every 2 weeks. The Rise series, there's a little urgency. Like, this thing is important that you buy this, even though it's evergreen, it's not going away, which you can do sometimes. And so those are every 4 days. And so I change it up. So they're like, oh, something's happening, because Cheryl normally sends out every 2 weeks, and now something's happening, right? I send out all my emails at 10 in the morning. When I have a broadcast to send out, I send it in the afternoon, just in case someone's in the middle of a nurture series or a Rise series and they get a morning email from me in the morning. It's okay if they get an email from me later in the afternoon, but they won't get them at the same time. So I differentiate a little bit there. I'm tangenting, but great question, Karen. Okay. Let's see what else. Facebook contacts to join the list. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Guys, tomorrow is growing the list. Growing the list today. Techie questions. Any other techie questions? Jimmy, great question here. My list is sleepy because over half my list finds my email in spam every time, even if they have been replying after pulling it out. How can that be fixed? So my guess is there's a couple of things that you can do. One, your subject lines cannot have the word free, money, or what's another one? There's a couple words that are no-nos that automatically will put your email in spam. Not automatically, but like very high chance. The other thing that we do in the welcome email, that very first email, and on the thank you page, after they sign up and they submit, the page changes, right? So that thank you page should say, you need, in order to receive the thing you just signed up for, you need to whitelist my email. And this is, you guys can Google this, Google how to whitelist in Gmail. And I literally say, if you're using Gmail, click this button and then click this button. If you are using do this, or drag it to this folder. There's different directions for different people. So I spell out how to whitelist my email. That is what they're not doing, even if they are replying. The other thing is that you might want to check the email that you're sending from. If you're sending mass emails from something at gmail.com or at AOL or at Yahoo, you're going to have a harder time getting those out of the spam, because it's really easy to create an email there. If it's from @yourname.com, Like emails from me come from cbemusic.com. That's my own domain. That tells the internet gremlins you're not so spammy, so they're more likely to put it in the inbox versus the spam or the promotions folder, right? So I hope that helps, Jimmy. There's a couple of things you can do there. If you are not sending your emails from your own domain, I would consider doing that. It's easy to do that. If you buy your email, your website through GoDaddy or wherever, or Bandzoogle or even Kajabi, you can buy your domains through them, and then you can set up that email at, your name at yoursite.com. That's going to help that. Okay. Great. Is it bad to make a video for re-welcome? You can link to that in the email. Is written better than linking to video? I think I'm a big fan of catering to a lot of different people's styles of receiving information. That means the visuals, the audio people, and the readers. So I would say, you could definitely say I made a video for you, and you could get personal. And I love Loom, you guys, LOOM.com. It's free. It's like a Chrome plugin, and you can just record your screen or your camera in your screen or just your camera, and just create a link and put that link in. You don't need to make a video, upload it to YouTube, and do a whole thing. It's so easy. So there's a nugget for you. But you can make a Loom video, but I would also summarize below the video, hey, if you're the reader type, because I'm a reader, my husband will watch YouTube videos all day long. I'm like, give me the blog, give me the directions on a blog post. For some reason, that's just me. So I don't think it's a bad idea at all, whoever you are, Facebook user. But I would, especially if it's you warming up, you want to really acknowledge that you want everyone to consume what you have, and someone might not be able to watch a video if they're at work. There are reasons to have it written. For this particular one, it's great to have videos in your email nurture series and sequences and rise series at times to change it up, because I think that's really great. So good. Eric, yes, I recommend using a domain email, not Gmail. Yes, and do both. Yes. Oh, Gabrielle, is you. Great. Yes, do both. Cool. Let me just scroll for any other last questions. Make sure that I didn't miss anything, because I know I did. You guys, I know I did. If I missed it, go ahead and type it one more time, and I will make sure I get to it. But we did really good today. Tomorrow, come back, same time, same place, different link though. And we're going to talk about awareness and growth and how to talk. We're going to talk about how to talk about it, which is fun and important. I threw out a lot of links today. I will go into the comments and write those for you. So the Bandzoogle being a recommendation for a simple site and basic, Kajabi being my recommendation. These are all in the key.co/make a site, Kajabi/Kajabi, which is the email long-term that I recommend pretty hardcore, that I will also work with you one-on-one to make sure that you're really set up with. I mentioned Amplify because I can't help myself and it's the greatest place on earth. And I also mentioned that the course is live for y'all if you're get me in. So that is in the key.co/email course. And there's some options and stuff in there for you. So yeah, really great with the tech. You guys, I could go down so many deep rabbit holes with this stuff. And so thank you for hanging with me. I know there's a lot of new vocabulary, but just pick your platform, write the sleepy email, because the more you start writing, the more you're going to hear your voice, and the more you're going to be like, this is what I want to be communicating to my fans. And the more they're going to respond and start showing up. And then it's game on, music career, which can be scary. Email list it's really funny. Let's get philosophical for a second, y'all. Email list, working on an email list uncovers a lot of a musician's shadows, to put it nicely. We have to be willing to say what we want in order for them to do anything, right? Which can be scary. To actually say that you want this for real means that we kind of got to abandon plan B and be this is our plan A. And I'm not saying quit your day job or anything like that. I'm just saying commit to it as part of who you are, right? That can be scary. I totally get that. Putting yourself out there is also scary, when also we're in conflict, because we're we want the music out there as much as possible. But then we're but we don't want anyone to say anything bad about it. So we are essentially opening ourselves up vulnerably in a vulnerable way. And the best way to do that is in email, where it's like, it's a little more contained. People have opted and they are here because they want to be. That feels so much better than putting something on social, for me at least. But yeah, we've got to, we've got to do some tech. We've got to really master some of our procrastination shadows. This is work that it can be fun. And I was reading the comments yesterday in the Facebook group. People were like, oh my God, that was so much easier than I thought, to like come up with 30 ideas of things I could talk about. Like, I'm actually interesting. I love that. I love that. But it also is work to set this up and to handle the tech, especially when we want to be writing songs and promoting songs, or depending on where we are in our musician's success cycle, which is the foundation of what Amplify is, by the way. It's like we're in some phase. There are 5 phases. We're either learning and determining, figuring out what is happening for the rest of this time around the success cycle. By the way, we go around the success cycle continuously. Like, some of us are on our 3rd time around, some of us on our 20th time around. So we're either learning, determining, like we're taking courses, we're getting coaching, whatever. We're creating our goals. Then we're creating. Phase 2, we are in creation mode. It's like we're recording, we're writing the songs. Here we are. Phase 3, we finished recording, we've got the masters. Now we've got to set up the website and do the admin and do the metadata. This is like the admin phase that most of us hate and want to skip. And we want to get to phase 4, which is promotion and pitching, getting it out there. We've set ourselves up and now we're going out there. And then phase 5 is monetizing and maintaining, tweaking a couple things and making the money off it. And sometimes these phases last months and sometimes they last weeks. But the problem I see a lot of musicians get into is they're in one phase, but they're doing tasks from other phases. It's like squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. And that's where the overwhelm comes in. So if you are someone who has created something and you are ready to get it out there, this is part of your phase 3. It is also part of your phase 1 if you are just learning about email. So if you're in phase 4, phase 5, you're out there, you're pitching and promoting. This is also part of it. It kind of like actually lives everywhere. But if you can really own where you are at and do the work and just be like, this is what I need to do for this business that I am creating, which is awesome, by the way, go you. Then you're doing yourself a really good long-term favor setting yourself up here. Okay. So that's tangent. Procrastination shadows, squirrel shadows, like shiny object syndrome shadows. I can't say that 5 times fast. Maybe it's because I'm already saying it so fast. Yeah. Oh, Michael, you paid $97 for perfect pitch a few years ago. I love that. It is good stuff. By the way, you get the perfect pitch when you join Rock Your Email List. What is Rock Your Email List Deluxe? I'm going to talk about that on day 5, but it is the deluxe. Start to finish, I walk you through all of the stuff that we're talking about this week, but we do deep dives. You also get over 40 templates of stuff I've already written, re-engagement series, selling merch, selling new releases, pre-releases, house concerts, Patreon, welcome series, holiday series, all this series. They're all pre-written with the subject lines, and it tells you when to send each email. Each series has 3 to 5 emails in it. And I say, send this day 1, this one day 5, or day 2, or whatever. So you get all that. There's a community, Rock Your Email List community, where we do a lot of cross promotion and email list growth together. And I promote you, and it's great because I love communities. So it's a program. It's a program that you do on your own. Once you're in for life. And it's pretty kick-ass. And it's the only one for musicians out there. And it's been dubbed a thing by like South by Southwest and all these great people, Rick Barker. And so, yeah. So there you go. And right now it has all these bonuses for the next little bit. If you're watching this back after the bonuses are gone, I'm so sorry, but there are bonuses. And the bonuses are a training with Rick Barker on Facebook ads to grow your email list, and a training with Michael Elsner on using your email list to get license placements, which is very cool. You also get the perfect pitch. And if you are purchasing it during this challenge when it's live, you get a Zoom call with me. So that's fun. Bam. So great question. Thanks for asking that. Not a plant, guys. There's the link again for those of you that are interested. Okay, what else? Let's see other questions. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so you have a site on WordPress that you paid for. And can you use Bandzoogle or Kajabi without hosting your site there? Kajabi, yes. Bandzoogle is a website host. So 100% Kajabi you can use just as an email platform. You can use it as an email platform and a place to sell your digital products. I sell like sheet music and I sell affirmations there and my music. So you can absolutely do that. I have my affiliates there. So you can use that for all the things except your website, and you can slowly transfer over. You can make opt-in pages on Kajabi and then have them connect to your WordPress site. There's a lot of ways to integrate. And I know a lot of people that do that. So great question, Michelle. Yeah, absolutely. Totally just making sure I got all the questions because tech is tricky. Let's see, there's within the nurture series, what order do we place our different emails and how often? It sounds like once a week. It depends on how often you want to be, how much content you have and how often you want to be sending. Once a week or once every 2 weeks is great. What if you send an update email for your blog? Do you intersperse that with the update email? If you send an update email, do you intersperse it with the update email? I like to set it up this way. If your platform allows you to set designated days. So my nurture series, they always go out on Tuesdays. So I know that on Thursdays, nothing's happening. No one's getting an email from me on Thursdays. So Thursdays are the days I save. Thursdays and Mondays are the days that I would send a broadcast. So that is how you can time it. So if someone's going through a nurture series and you have a broadcast, you can also do what I said earlier, which is just send different times of day. So my broadcasts are always in the afternoons and my automated series are in the mornings. For example, you can do that however you want. So there you go. There you go. There you go. What should you share about your health? You can share anything about your health, especially if it's driven your songs and it's part of your story. So you decide what that is for you, but that's a really great question. So Cindy says, what was phase 3? Admin. Basically all the setup, preparing, creating your foundations so that when you go to pitch, you have something to pitch and send people to. When you're promoting, you have the brand aligned. So that is what that work is for. All right, guys, I'm going to go make sure I'll be in the Facebook group. I'll be tagging back and making sure everyone's questions got answered. We'll do this again tomorrow. So I'll see you tomorrow for the awareness and growth, day 3 of this challenge. Good luck with the homework. Good luck with the giveaway. If you tagged in the Key of Success on Instagram, you are in the running. If you're following me, I am excited to pick our winner. We'll announce tomorrow. Congratulations, Tina. Again, everyone go follow Tina. And we'll just keep cranking. Bring your questions. You do not need to email me homework. A couple of you are very cute and emailed me your homework. Don't do that. No need to do that. But I love the enthusiasm. So great. So thank you for being here. I very much appreciate your time. I do not take this lightly that you are such creative people and giving me your time. So I hope this is valuable. And we're building, we're getting our heads wrapped around this email thing, right? And if you are an email person already, I hope this is good refresher and kind of oh yeah, I can go dust off some cobwebs in those corners there. All right. There's Tina. We're going to go follow Lee_ukulele. Love it. All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Bye, all.